This episode is sponsored by Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
The Democrats were the ones that were for slavery. The Democrats were the ones that came up with the Jim Crow stuff.
Even if all of that were true about slavery, which party flies the Confederate flag today?
A lot of the Democrats.
You really think Democrats fly the Confederate flag more than
Democrats
Republicans?
that, yes.
Overwhelmingly, you'll see a Confederate flag right next to a Trump flag. That's just...
All right, this is gonna be a fun video. We are entering a new era of new debates, and as I level up my skills and the channel grows, I just wanna go back and close the loop on some of my favorite Trump debate clips over the past year and a half. Now, if you're new to this channel, I've been to 40 to 50 different Trump rallies, and I go there and try to respectfully debate Trump supporters. Sometimes it's not very respectful. Watch this one.
The rigged election.
Were you chanting hang Mike Pence with everyone or what?
What do you mean? You don't say that word coming from your mouth. Say it again.
There's videos.
Say it again.
Don't touch me.
Whatever you just said, say it again.
Okay, so it gets heated. It gets interesting, but I want to run you through some moments where I break Trump supporters' brains. There are some moments where I change their minds, and it all comes together to give you a cohesive view into how MAGA thinks and how to talk to them. So let's start off with this clip where I'm talking to this lady about whether the 2020 election was rigged.
Well, we know it was rigged.
Yeah.
That's why.
What evidence? What's your strongest piece of evidence for that?
They showed the videos of people hiding the ballots under the tables. They pulled them out. They threw all the Republicans out.
Trump brought all this evidence to 60 different courts, and all of those courts rejected him. Then he hired a team of forensic analysts to analyze the election results. They said there's no evidence of election fraud, so he fired them. So does that ever cross your mind? That
No, I believe in Trump. I've loved Donald Trump since the 80s. I've listened to him. I've read his book, Out of the Deal.
Yeah.
I truly believe in...
Oh, she's read Out of the Deal. But by the way, after going to a bunch of these rallies, I realized there's a common theme where almost every single hardcore MAGA supporter doesn't trust any person or any institution other than Trump. They don't trust the Supreme Court. They don't trust anybody, Mike Pence, nobody, unless it's Trump himself.
Donald Trump.
Really?
And I don't believe that he's lying about any of that.
Interesting. So you trust him more than people in his cabinet? Like when someone like Mike Pence or...
I don't like Mike Pence.
You don't like... So
Mike Pence, I think, was a traitor.
What about Bill Barr?
Bill Barr, same thing.
What about Mark Meadows?
I'm on the fence with Mark Meadows.
So even all of these people that we're talking about, Mark Meadows, even all of the courts that Trump brought evidence to, they all said there's not enough evidence to overturn the election.
They've all been bought. They're all been bought. We know that. And what about the young lady that was shot?
Ashley Babbitt?
Ashley Babbitt. Mm-hmm. What about her?
To be fair,
should never have been.
Well, she was a veteran, and she was... Sorry, she was a veteran, and she was breaking through a window, which behind the window were congressmen.
She was unarmed.
So if I'm breaking into your house through your window, would you shoot me?
If you were breaking into my house?
Through a window.
If you... At night, probably, yes, I would.
So that's exactly what Ashley Babbitt did, though. She broke through the window in the Capitol, and behind the window, there were a senator.
You can see the moment where he begins to realize that maybe Ashley Babbitt was in the wrong. What about this one? This is with Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, Brian Glenn. I debated him. He's the one that said some nasty remark to Zelensky a few weeks back.
You're nothing but a Trump hater, and you're out here trying to get everybody to be tripped up.
Do you think Donald Trump, when he was convicted on all 34 counts, what did you think about that? Because I was...
Doesn't mean, Matt, and none of those 34 counts is worthless.
What?
Worthless case. You got a case from the FEC.
Why is it worthless?
It's worthless because there was no crime that was committed.
Falsifying business records with the intent of covering up another crime.
But
Michael Cohen went...
That's what they said. That's what you say.
That's what the jury said. The jury handpicked by Donald Trump's lawyers.
I know exactly what you're all about right now. You're not an independent journalist. You're nothing but a Trump hater, and you're out here trying to get everybody to be tripped up. Let me ask you a question. Who thinks these 34 indictments are worth a piece of crap?
You know what? They all trying to interview the biggest...
They're all
So there's Brian Glenn trying to incite the crowd against me.
worthless. You know that. You know that.
Yo, move on.
You know that. You know that.
What, the 34?
What? The 34 indictments are worthless.
You're saying that our entire... Wait, let me finish.
It comes down to one question. Let me ask you a question.
He didn't let me finish. Spoiler alert. Then later on, this guy gets in my face. Watch this.
Our entire justice system when you say this jury...
Your ability to elect the next president that's competent.
I'm sorry, I don't want the dude that made his supporters attack the Capitol. I don't want the dude that...
the supporters attack the Capitol.
His rhetoric directly...
He said peacefully walk to the Capitol.
He said fight. He said Mike Pence didn't do it.
Again, but don't touch me. Don't touch me, my dog.
Okay, to be fair, we spent a lot of money to fly out and film at this place, and this guy was standing in front of my cameraman, ruining our procedure, our operation, going, Trump, Trump. So I lightly placed my hand to shove him away so that we can get a return on the massive amount of money we dropped to be out there. You know what I mean? Watch this one. I went over a Trump supporter on Kamala's policy.
Donald Trump's policies. What are you most excited to see him enact?
How are we going to buy houses? You look at our parents, they were able to, actually have a lot of money to afford to buy houses at our age. But today, we don't want to be living with our parents till 30, but that's what the Biden-Harris economy has pushed us into.
Housing is getting expensive. Do you think we should build more of a supply so it decreases the cost of housing?
Well,
because if you increase the supply of something, it decreases the cost as more people are able to buy houses, right? Kamala Harris does have a plan to build 3 million new houses, and then for first-time homebuyers, people our age, we get a $20,000 tax break. Do you think that that's a good policy that should be adopted?
yeah, I think tax breaks in general, not just for housing, but for other topics too. Like, for example, when you have a new baby, you should have a $6,000 tax break. That's good policy. So I do agree with that.
That is one of Kamala's policies too, the child tax credit. You want to incentivize people to have a family, to buy housing, you give them tax breaks. And it scares me when I see people doing tax breaks for the rich, but then lower class Americans need incentives too.
Yes, I do believe that people of all incomes should have these tax breaks available.
Boom, look at that. This Trump supporter was gently guided into our position. And really quickly, I recently moved places with the sole intention of building a little bit of a bigger studio and leveling up the show. And I realized in doing so, I have all of this equipment in an insecure, unsafe spot. But don't get any ideas, because that's why I partnered with SimpliSafe for this video. It's the exact kind of thing that SimpliSafe is built for, because they stop threats before the threats become a break-in. Now, this is called Active Guard Outdoor Protection. Let me tell you how it works. First, SimpliSafe's AI can flag unusual behavior outside your place, like someone pacing around or looking inside. Then, a real monitoring agent sees it live in the moment, and if something's wrong, they talk to that person right then and there. With no delay, you'll hear sirens, police, and you'll immediately be safe with the help of SimpliSafe. So this goes beyond peace of mind. It's real protection from real people around the clock in that moment. I mean, check this out. From my app, I can disarm or arm the system. I can lock my front door, watch all my camera feeds, even get alerts before something happens when there's movement outside. And it all just kind of works. No headaches, no hidden fees, no long-term contracts, no extra tiers that you have to buy. It's just smart locks, motion sensors, and cams that will keep you safe 24/7. Active Guard watches everything outside, so go to simplysafe.com/Adam Mockler to customize your system today. The link is in the description. You can save 50% off your SimpliSafe security system if you visit simplysafe.com/Adam Mockler. Get your first month free and get 50% off your security system if you click the link in the description below. There is no safe like SimpliSafe. Thank you guys for watching, and thanks to SimpliSafe. This is one of my favorites.
The Democrats were the ones that were for slavery. The Democrats were the ones that came up with the Jim Crow stuff.
Even if all of that were true about slavery, which party flies the Confederate flag today?
A lot of the Democrats.
You really think Democrats fly the Confederate flag
There's
more than
Democrats
Republicans?
that, yes.
Overwhelmingly, you'll see a Confederate flag right next to a Trump flag. That's just how it works
No,
nowadays.
I haven't seen that overwhelmingly.
You really? You
Where?
think, was it Democrats or Republicans trying to take down Confederate statues?
Confederate statues?
Which party was trying to take down Confederate statues?
What's the statue got to do with?
You're saying that Democrats are pro-Confederate, but weren't Democrats trying to remove Confederate statues?
Why are they doing that?
Because they're anti-Confederate.
No, they're not.
Why are they trying to remove the statues then?
Because they're trying to change the history of our country. You know what? Take your camera and go interview all these black people that are here, okay?
Yeah.
And you ask them.
The three black people that are here?
If you ask them.
All right. That was a good one. Check out this one.
All the violence comes from the left, so we don't try and shoot people. We don't riot. We don't burn cities down.
Yeah. Except for the one time on January 6th, right?
Well, nobody talks about May 29th. So
What was May 29th?
when they firebombed the White House and Trump was forced into the presidential bunker.
Yeah, it's terrible. I hate political violence.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
that.
sure Joe Biden would condemn that, right? He would say that's not okay.
Yeah, but why do we keep bringing up January 6th?
Well, because that was stoked by the
Police
president.
officer.
My problem with January 6th is that Donald Trump said the election was stolen over and over and over, and that led to people being there on the day they're certifying Joe Biden's win, and then
he told them to peacefully protest.
After months of saying your country's being stolen, everything is rigged, and then he never called Mike Pence to see if he was okay, and now Mike Pence said, this guy puts himself above the Constitution.
He doesn't put himself above the Constitution.
So when he tried to submit...
He wants to bring the Constitution back.
Well, he said
Free
he wants
speech,
to terminate...
not censoring everybody.
He did say he wants to terminate the Constitution on Truth Social. Did you see that one? Or what?
He's not going to terminate... The Democrats are the ones terminating the Constitution.
Look how poorly this is aged. Let me remind you, this one was filmed 8 months back, I'm going to say, before the election, during the campaign season. And we already knew Trump was a threat to the Constitution, but look how far we've come. This is one of my first ever clips. I think you guys will enjoy this final one. Make sure you drop a like if you made it this far, by the way.
I was a Trumper, but I think it's time to change. I'm just kind of tired of his attitude. I think he's in it for himself.
What do you think about Donald Trump being charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States?
I personally think it's a witch hunt.
You think so?
Yeah. I think they'll do anything to get rid of him because they don't like him.
Do you know what?
Wait, am I wearing the same shirt now that I was wearing like a year or two ago? Oh my God.
They're saying he did? Basically, what they're accusing him of is gathering fake electors to try to certify the results in his favor in multiple states. He also called the governor of Georgia asking him to flip the results of the election.
Right.
Do you think there's any truth in that?
I think he probably did.
So if he did it, then don't you think he should be prosecuted?
If they have proof, yes.
So it's not quite a witch hunt. They're just trying to gather the proof and stuff, basically.
Right.
Interesting. Are you a fan of Mike Pence?
No.
Why not?
And I think he's unloyal.
You think he's unloyal to Donald Trump?
Yeah.
In what way?
I think he's just, now that he's away, he's bad-mouthing. You know, why didn't he do something while he was in there?
Well, what Donald Trump wanted him to do was overturn the results of a Democratic election. Wouldn't you prioritize the Constitution over Trump?
Yes, I would. The Constitution comes first.
So when Trump asked Pence to override the results of the election,
he was wrong.
Trump was wrong?
I believe so, yes.
Interesting. So you can understand why he's bad-mouthing him now. He's trying to set the precedent that Trump isn't someone who should be in office.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, here are my candid thoughts on this. I am now going to try to launch a show where I bring Trump supporters in and try to have respectful conversations with them, like this one, even though it's a little bit painful, I do understand. Or what about, wait, not this one, this one. This kid was very malleable. And the reality is there are millions and millions of malleable Trump supporters across the country, in the Midwest, people who voted for Trump and can be reasoned with. And a lot of people in the comments will disagree with that and say that every Trump voter is too far gone. That's not a winning mentality, and you should stay away from Democratic strategy. There are tens of millions of voters out there who have an open mind and who can be won over if we just do the work. And this is proof of that. So if you guys think it's a good idea for me to start this show, bring people in studio to have cordial conversation with them, it'll be great. If you have a MAGA supporter family member in the Midwest, a MAGA father, a MAGA cousin that would be open to this, you can email me at askmockler.com, only if they would be open to this. Check with them first. It would be a fun time. We'll leave it at that. I'll see you guys in the next video.